little different than most is I didn't have like so the way I was my parents came from Ukraine back in the 70s, and they brought me here when I was very, very little. So I don't really have any memories of living anywhere but Los Angeles, which is where I'm from. I'm from LA.
Yeah.
And Los Angeles is a big melting pot. You have a lot of different cultures in LA, and you have a very big, Asian culture, Jewish culture, what not. It's a big melting pot. It's a big, big city. And I grew up over there, and I moved to Florida, which is where I'm at now, only about 6 years ago. So I'm originally from Los Angeles, but I moved to Florida, and that has there's part of that of my story has something to do with that, and I'll kind of explain to you that as well. So, just my father and my parents, they did not come from money. We were immigrants, obviously. My father had an auto shop, and my mom was a facialist, and so we did not have a luxury life. The only cool thing was I grew up in West Hollywood, in Los Angeles in the '80s, which was like the coolest place to be. And I
I
could tell
bet,
you
yeah.
some crazy stories about that, which have absolutely nothing to do with our interview. But they would probably be more exciting than the actual interview. But anyways, I digress. So I went to Fairfax High School. I literally went to the high school where the Michael Jackson brothers went, where the Chili Peppers went. Not because of any privilege, just because I lived right in West Hollywood, which was, Sunset Strip,
Yeah.
Hollywood, Beverly Hills. It's all there. I
Yeah.
lived right in the center of all of that.
Yeah.
And this is before LA became a crazy town. It was just a regular city. There was 5 million people there in the '80s, late '70s. So finance and money and all of that stuff was never something I thought about till I was finishing up high school. I had a friend from school, and he decided to put some money into the stock market. And I started kind of getting a little curious about that. And I went to college. He went to college. We were friends in college, and then I applied to law school. Now, applying to law school it is a process. It's not like a one-day thing. Like I want to go to law school. You got to take tests and all that. So I applied to law school, and I was about to get accepted, and I was waiting, 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 waiting. And while I was waiting, we were talking, and he started showing me about his trading and how he was
Yeah.
trading the markets and how cool it was. This is we're talking 1991, 1992, just to give you some perspective here.
Yeah.
So, I'm 53 right now, so I'm going to be 54 in October. So this is a long time ago. So, we just graduated high school in '88, and out of high school, getting ready to go to law school, finishing up college, ready to go to law school. And I never believed, and we decided to go to Las Vegas. Las Vegas is 4 hours away from LA. It wasn't a very far drive. So on the way to Vegas, he's telling me like, look, you can buy a stock and you could sell a stock. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, that sounds better than Vegas. Like, this is amazing. Like, you could do all this. And he's like, yeah, yeah, you could do all that. This is like a year before internet brokers came
Yeah.
around. So you had to actually go, and he had a broker in Vegas for, I don't know why. I have no idea why, but he had a broker in Vegas. This is like a year, 2 years before you could just open up an account with an online broker. This is like early '90s. Internet didn't get going till like the mid '90s. So I drove with him to Vegas. We were hanging out. We were having fun. We were partying. While we were there, he introduced me to his broker. So I met him. Now I knew what a stockbroker was. And then I was accepted to law school. And literally, and this was a complete coincidence, but at the time that I was accepted to law school, I just became overcame by this trading bug. And I fell in love with the markets. But I'm one of those people where if I start something, I'm going to finish it. And I was the only guy at that point that's my assistant, by the way, Matt. He's
Hi.
on
Yeah.
the show. Uh, so the only my only experience with money and finance was just things I would watch on TV. I didn't really have much experience with it. So all of this was becoming really interesting to me. So at the point, honestly, looking back, right around the time I started law school, I already made up my decision that I was going to do something with the market and I was going to do something with financials, but I didn't know what. But I still wanted to go to law school because I was the first guy in my family who actually went to graduate school. So it was like a big thing for me. And I also wanted to learn how to think. So I went to law school. I graduated law school. I used to bring my quote trek. It was a little device like this back in the '90s where you could look at the quotes, and I used to call the the broker on the phone with a payphone to place. I mean, we're talking going back to early 90s, you know. So I graduated law school and I did not practice law. That's one thing that a lot of people misquote me on,
Yeah.
the fact that I never claimed to have practiced law and I never practiced law. And
Okay.
right after I finished law school, I got a job at a local brokerage firm, Cannon Trading in Beverly
Yeah.
Hills,
Yeah.
like 6 months after I finished school. And by this point, I've already been like studying the market for like 4 years, and I've been involved in the market. And I was doing a really good job. And after being there for like 6 months, I was like, I don't know why I mean, basically, honestly, they would give me like leads that nobody want that they were like giving me leads, like garbage leads that they went through that nobody wanted. And I was closing those leads. So I was doing really, really well. So so I worked there for about 6 months. I'm like, why am I splitting this 50% with this guy? I could do this myself. So I started a company called Castle Trading, and it was a commodity brokerage firm in Northridge in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And you, by the way, you could check all this in my FTC CFTC file. There's a record of all of this with a timestamp. It's all there, like because all of this is it's federal registered. So I started my own brokerage firm, and that's what I was doing from 2000 to 2008. Now, how did I meet all of these people that I became partners with? They were all my clients. So Charles Calomiris was my client. Kevin Hassett was his best friend. So I met these people not because I went out there and I started a fund. These people were my clients and they saw my ability to trade and they decided they wanted to partner up with me. So a lot of these people that became my partners in my future hedge funds were actually my clients and started off as my clients. Okay. And that's the best
Yeah.
kind of, we became they became clients, they became friends, and then we became partners. So it was a very
Yeah.
organic way to do it. Now, I did not know that Kevin Hassett was going to be the senior financial advisor to President Trump's administration in the mid 90s. That I did not
Right.
know. But even at that point, he was already, they were both top professors in Harvard and Columbia University. They were, Calomiris was doing exactly the same thing then as he's doing now. He's a senior financial professor in Columbia University of Finance. So nothing has changed. But during that period of time, I met a financial advisor to the Bronfman family, and I started trading, and that's how I got involved with trading for the Bronfmans. So all of these things happened as I started as I started my brokerage firm, as a result of my brokerage firm that I had from 2000 to 2008.
Okay.
Um, Now in 2008, around 2008, in addition to my, and this is when things started going south. In addition to my brokerage firm and my funds, I was pretty young. I was only 28 years old at this time. You got to understand,
Wow.
I wasn't a grandpa back then.
Wow.
So I was in my, I was 30 years old in 1990 in 2000. So I decided to start building some real estate for myself, just for my family. And while I was doing that, I was sharing this with my partners, like, hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And they're like, hey, we want to get in on that too. We like what you're doing. We like you. We trust you. You've been helping us make money for 8 years. So so that's how that started. Now, little did I know but my clients decided to also, and I'm talking about the Bronfmans here, they decided to join a cult. And the cult leader was now controlling them and brainwashing them and all of that. And there's movies and stories, and you could look up NXIVM and all of that stuff.
I
Uh,
have, yeah, I've seen some of that,
all right. So now all that happened, that did not have anything to do with me. That was a guy that was uh, a cult leader, if you will, a thought leader, cult leader, whatever you want. He's now doing 100 years in prison, but they hooked up with him independently of me. That had nothing to do with me.
Right.
So I'm trying, I'm working with these people, and they're being brainwashed. And the cult leader pretty much wanted to take over their fortune. So he brainwashed them into thinking that I was a bad guy. And we got into a lawsuit. And that
Right.
lawsuit lasted from 2008 to 2016, I believe.
Right.
Long, 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 long
Right. It's
years.
a long time,
And
yeah.
this lawsuit ended with the cult leader going to prison for 120 years.
Right.
And Claire Bronfman was in prison for 8 years.
Right.
And I moved to Florida, and that's when I changed my name. And
Interesting.
I did not change my name when the lawsuit started. I changed my name after the lawsuit over. And the reason I changed my name goes back to where I started the story. Remember I said I grew up in Los Angeles?
Yeah.
And Los Angeles is a very, very big melting pot. You've got a lot of Jews, you got a lot of Russians, you got a lot of I live now in Ponte Vedra Beach. And
Okay.
that's when I decided when I moved here is when I decided that I was going to do what I do now.
Hmm.
And from the time I was a little kid, I hated my name because, as you could tell, I'm as American can get. And
Right.
kids would say, "What is your name, Yuri? What's that?" Like from the
Right.
time I was a little kid, I hated my name. So
Yeah.
I thought by moving here, it would be like a fresh start
Mhm.
with a new name, and that's
Right.
why I changed my name. It wasn't to because I was hiding from anybody. If you
Perfect.
look at the date, you can go on the internet and you can go to Google and you can type in my name and you could see a change of name order signed by a federal judge,
I
state judge,
saw it.
excuse me.
Yeah. I
Now,
saw it. Yeah.
if you look at the date of when it was done after my thing with the cult was finished. It was
Right.
not so I wasn't doing that to hide anything. I just wanted a name change. I wanted a new business. I wanted to start something new, and I didn't want to be tied to the past.
This
But
is why it's so valuable to talk to people that are involved in these things because you don't hear that side of the story. All you
right.
see is a lawsuit, a name change. Oh my God, they must be up to something. And so that's why I'm really enjoying sitting down with you today to talk about this stuff because
Yeah, yeah. And then when people look me up online, they're like, "We don't know who Roger Scott is." Well, if you looked up my last name, if you go to NFA Basics, you could see my whole history. It's got everything. It's got Charles Calamirez, Kevin Hassett. I was also partners with Curtis Faith, who's one of the original turtle traders.
I saw that.
Um,
Yeah.
and again, all of this is documented in a federal database with dates and times. So, so, so that gives you now that I hope that gives you a much clear understanding of my background
It does.
and who I am and how and it's really sad because nobody's like, hey, this guy was partners with Charles Calamirez, with Kevin Hassett.
I know.
He traded
I
for the
know.
Bronfmans. I want to talk to this guy. No, everybody's like, he's fraud. That can't be true. But it
Right.
is. I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
Right.
you can't change reality, you know?
No, and that's exactly why I want to do this interview because I have researched you a lot. I didn't base my original review on lies. Like I did actually research what I saw and I drew my own opinions from that, but they're obviously incorrect. I've looked into you a lot more since then. And obviously, you're one of the most prestigious guys in the industry from what I can see. And I've been doing this for a decade or so, reviewing different services and talking to a lot of the top people in the industry. And I've never seen somebody with such credentials in terms of like the people they've been associated with, which is to me utterly amazing. So I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit more about the turtle trader stuff. So I know the story roughly, and I know there's a book on it, several books probably. And I'm just wondering, what was your connection with Curtis Faith? You did a fund with him, or you worked with him, or what was the story with
I'll tell
that?
you exactly what happened. I was while I had again going back to my brokerage. All of this happened while I was running my brokerage. Okay, so I was running my brokerage, and there was a forum. I'd love to tell you the name of this forum, but I can't because I don't remember this forum. But it had something to do with the software that Curtis Faith created back then. So Curtis Faith came out. So okay, I'll tell you the entire story. It's an interesting story. So there was a guy. His name was. I'm going back, many years now. His name was Michael Covell, and he has a site called TurtleTrader.com. I'm sure you've seen TurtleTrader.com. It's been around for years. Nice guy. Never had any problems with this guy. But this is where the story goes. But he wasn't really a trader. He was just a guy teaching people stuff about the turtles.
Right.
Well, Curtis Faith decided that he wanted to make a comeback. Okay. So he published publicly online the entire. So he met up with this guy when Curtis was working in the Bahamas. He met up with this Michael guy and they were going to work together or not. I don't want to I don't want to say things that are not true. So I'm only giving you things from the best of my recollection. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
he told me that, one of those things where what I heard and they said, so I wasn't there. But basically, they tried to work something out. They couldn't work something out. So they had a disagreement. So Curtis said, screw it. I'm just going to give everybody, I'm going to put this guy out of business. I'm going to publish the rules online publicly on this forum that I was a member of. And this was a quantifiable trading forum.
Right.
And the forum was run by the two guys who wrote Technical Analysis of the Futures Market. I don't remember their names, but that was the name of the book, Technical Analysis of the Futures Market. LeBeau. It's all coming back to me now. Chuck LeBeau. Chuck LeBeau wrote a book. He was the guy that brought ADX and ADX indicator to the forefront, actually. It's a great book. It was a red book. It was like an $80 book back in the 90s. Chuck LeBeau. So Chuck LeBeau was selling trading systems, and he had a forum. On the forum, I was posting my spiel about backtesting future systems because that's what I was doing. And I had a brokerage and I was backtesting systems. Curtis was on that forum. So Curtis found me on that forum because we were communicating, and that's how we met each other. But the whole thing started with him wanting to get back into the industry and publishing his rules and having this issue with this Michael Covell guy who he tried working things with. Again, that's to the best of my knowledge. And if I might have gotten some of that wrong, I don't know. This is going back to 1995, 1996.
Right, a long time ago.
Yeah. So finally, Curtis came to LA. We met up. We decided to start a fund together. We started a fund together. It was called Mercury Fund. We raised about $500,000 of money in that fund. The fund was doing okay. It wasn't a bigger fund like the other funds I had with Calomiris and Hassett. And my clerk, Toby Denniston, we found out that my clerk was not from the fund. He was taking, so let me explain to you what happened. Have you ever traded futures before? You're familiar with futures?
I do. I sell a lot of futures options on auto and ES and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So you know how with futures you have very large the margins are very liberal. So we were managing a futures account, but we only needed to have enough money in the actual account to be able to satisfy margin. So what do we do with the rest of the money? We put it in Wells Fargo Bank. And this is when you can get like 8-9% interest on your money.
Wow.
And I had a clerk, Toby Denniston, who was stealing money, siphoning money, not out of the fund, but out of the bank account, Wells Fargo bank account.
Right.
So he was caught by the FTC, not FTC, CFTC NFA, not FTC, excuse me,
right.
CFTC NFA, literally caught, admitted to it, did all that, went to prison for it. I paid back all the losses plus 10% interest to all the clients. Yeah. So it was all settled, but that was my relationship with Curtis Faith.
Cool.
So we ran a futures fund together. Yeah.
Cool.
And futures, and I don't know if you ever met Curtis or not, but Curtis is a character. He is a character, and everybody, and he will even tell you that himself. Curtis is he's a character. I also traded with Tony Saliba from the Market Wizards book.
Nice.
Here in the trading pub live, we had a class together where I would pick the stocks and Tony would pick the options for it. And those are all those are all recorded and on our YouTube channel from years ago. So I've literally worked with Tony Saliba, Curtis Faith, Charles Calomiris, and Kevin Hassett and the Bronfman's family. So
yeah, it's amazing. It's and that's why I wanted to talk to you, because this is a step above 99.999% of the trading gurus out there who might just be running Discord groups, or they're just running like some like crazy thing. And to see like the support from your subscribers, or at least your audience, combined with your track record of working with some of these people, made me really realize that this is something that I need to address and look more into. So I'm really glad you're taking the time to sit down with me, and I'd like to spend a little bit of time just talking about what you're doing these days as well, because the past is great, and I'm really interested in your past, like seeing who you've worked with and stuff, like Kevin Hassett, like to see him working with different people inside the I think it looked like several government organizations over the years. Bill Clinton.
He was the senior financial economist to Trump.
Right. And I love Trump. I'm a huge Trumper. So,
So
so,
he was the number one guy to Trump. He was the senior
yeah,
financial economist in this country to President Trump. It doesn't
I
get any
saw it.
more. It doesn't get really much, you know.
No, and you did a fund with him, is that correct? Like you did it,
Yes. It
you
was
did a
called
fund.
CHP Asset Management,
Yeah,
Calamir's Hassett Pline, before I changed my name, literally.
yeah, yeah. Right. I saw that CHP. So yeah, and so one thing I'm a little bit confused about before we move on to what you're doing nowadays and what your systems
Yes.
are, what your
Yes.
services are and things, is these funds. So I've never done a fund. I'm a retail trader. I just like trade myself. Like I have a couple alert services myself as well. I do a lot of affiliate marketing for services too. What do you mean when you say a fund? Like, is there like what is a fund exactly? So when you say you
It,
had a fund, Kevin
a
Hassett, what?
futures, a certified futures commodity pool. A certified futures commodity pool where it's a separate commodity pool that's certified by the FTC as again I keep saying FTC. I have
The
FTC
damn
nightmares.
FTC.
SC not FTC, NFA and CFTC certified by
CFTC, right?
CFTC and NFA as a separate entity.
Right.
So it's not like a CTA where I take money from 15 people, aggregate it together and trade it. I mean, excuse me, a CTA where I take 15 different accounts and trade it. It's where it's like a mutual fund for the futures market. That's what it
Right.
is
Right.
basically,
Okay.
where I could sell shares to clients
Right. Cool. Yeah.
and they get a
So
prospectus and all of that stuff.
I think you're doing a fantastic job, man, of clearing up some of the stuff that like was maybe that's out there, like the things that he says he's a lawyer, but he's not a lawyer, but he did a law degree, but he didn't practice as a lawyer. But then people search the lawyer database, whatever that is, and they're like, okay, he's not a lawyer, but he
And
is a
it's like
lawyer.
I never said I never said I never ever once ever, and you can literally go back to anything I've said over the last 10 years. I've never ever said I practice law. I never claimed to
No,
practice law. I said I
no, and
went to
this
law
is
school and
this
that
is
was it.
what this is what happened to me. So I trained to be a physicist. I did a PhD in physics. I did like 1 year of postdoc physics stuff, and then I turned into a stock trader and affiliate marketer for stock trading services. So am I a physicist? Not really, not anymore. So
Yeah,
like
I mean I don't practice law. I never did. I don't claim to. I don't pretend to. It's just something that I did. I went to law school. I have a law
yeah.
degree in my wall.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's nothing to hide here, and this is what I really wanted to see when I'm sitting down with you, and it's phenomenal to see this. And one of the things that's really struck me is I did this review, and people watching this on my YouTube channel might not ever see this review because I've taken it down. But if you did see it, it was a little bit on the negative side. I tried to take what I knew and what my opinions were. But they're obviously wrong, and I love to change my opinion because I love to see people that are helping people and giving value in this field. And the response I got from your audience was overwhelming. Like it was overwhelming. This guy is doing like an amazing job. He's helping us. I was not profitable until I met Roger Scott. He's helping us do all these things. And that's the main reason I'm sitting down with you today, is because I want people to be able to see that there's people out there who may on the surface be like, oh, I don't know about this guy, but he's actually doing a better job than 99.9% of the people out there. So I'm excited to talk to you a little bit about what you're doing with the trading pub, I think it's called, the trading
Yes.
pub. I'm a
Yes.
little bit confused about that as well. So I know Wealth Press was part of this at some point. I know Wealth Press, obviously, most people in the industry know what Wealth Press is. Are you still part of Wealth Press? Are you bought by Wealth Press? Are you separate from Wealth Press?
I started Wealth Press. I
Oh,
was
you
actually
started
I
over.
started Wealth Press. Yeah, I was the
Okay.
guy who came up with the name Wealth Press.
All right.
It was actually my name, and we started Wealth Press. It was me and two other guys. We started Wealth Press. It became a pretty big company, and then we merged with another company, a German company, a bigger company, and now it's called the Pub. Now it's called the Trading Pub. So Wealth Press basically got a name change because it was bought up by another company.
Okay.
It was purchased by another company. That's pretty much the easiest, like, without getting into legal, all the,
Right.
that's really what it is. It was purchased by a bigger, it was swallowed up by a bigger company.
Right.
So but the bigger company is actually a big company where we get a lot of support, a lot of tools that we need, a lot of things that we couldn't get with Wealth Press. We are now able to get. It has truly become an international publishing company, and something we're very proud of.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and my last few days I spent a few sessions with you in your free rooms. I'll leave a link in the description for this YouTube video once I publish it for some of those live morning sessions and also noon sessions Eastern time as well, because they're very helpful, and I think it's something that people should definitely attend and check out because it's a good community. I've never seen a community that's so positive. Like, I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's a positive community. People are helping each other, they're supporting you, you're supporting them, you're answering every question they have. Like, it's something I've never seen before in this industry, and it's really good. So I'm really impressed with that so far from what I've seen. um do you happen to have, so I know you shared with me on the and this is a bit out there off the cuff, but like, do you happen to have the spreadsheet by any chance that you showed me with the positive profit factor and the trades and things that you showed me on day one when I first started interacting with you on that? If you have that to hand, and I don't, I understand if you don't, but
I
if
do,
you
I do,
if
I
you have
do.
that to hand, we could share that screen maybe and kind of show that, because that's a huge factor, like to show throughout all the services that you run. And I understand it's quite a few, like half a dozen or a dozen
There's a
services.
lot in there. So yeah, Matt, if you don't mind, can you share the screen? And
Absolutely.
he's gonna do that right now. So there is this is a list. He'll pull it up right now, but this is a list of all of my services except for two. The
Right.
reason those two services are not up here is because one is an income service. It's not a directional service. These are all directional swing trading services. Okay. So basically, trades cannot be closed the same day. Okay.
Right.
And they're directional, meaning we're looking for delta, we're looking for gamma, we're looking for movement. Um, my other service is an income service. So I didn't think it would be fair to put an income service with directional services because it's like apples and orange. And plus,
Right.
there's like six directional services of here, maybe even more. And then I have a day trading service called the pit,
The
the
pit,
trading
right.
pit,
Yeah.
and that I can't really combine that with this because that one is on a whole different level. That one has a win rate of 95.6%.
Nice.
And
Nice.
that one we keep track of including two trades today that were winners. Since you and I known each other, we took five winners in the pit, and we had five trades. So and every trade is time stamped. So I can't really combine that with this because that's day trading, that's Telegram, that's live intraday. Where this is like holding trades for 10 days or 8 days. So I kind of left them on their own. But you could see here, this is all of our results since January 1st. This is Stealth Surge, A-Line. You could see on the left side the name of the service.
Yeah.
Stealth Surge, A-Line, Pattern Trader, True Trend, Bargain Hunter, Alpha, Overdrive, Gap to Green. They're all there, every one of them. So it shows you the cumulative performance since January 1st. We've taken 178 trades. We're showing how much the profit factor is 1.58, which is fantastic. And these are real trades. These are not some cockamamie.
They're not back tests.
No, these are
Yeah.
real trades, signals. As you saw, people are like, yeah, we
Yeah.
took trades.
Yeah,
We're not.
exactly. I saw people saying this is real. This is not just made up nonsense, because people can
No, no, no.
spreadsheets. I saw people nonstop in your chat room going, "This is real. These are real, real results."
Yeah, and I'll
and
show you
so
more of them before we conclude. But this is from January 1st, just because I wanted, I figured why not just go to January 1st. This is 178 trades, 1.58 profit factor. Average return is 10.44. And this is options, not stocks, obviously. You're not going to
right,
get that kind of return on stock. Win rate of 77.53%. Average days in the trade, 9 days. So we're not like trying to pick tops and bottoms that day. These are casual trades where people get in, and every trade is accounted for. And
yeah,
in the individual spreadsheet, Matt, can you show just show him a spreadsheet for one of the programs individually?
Sure.
If you think this is detailed, you haven't seen anything yet. Show him a program, Matt.
yeah. And while he's doing that, like, these numbers are reasonable. These are not like you're turning 500, $500 into $1 million. You can
Oh,
see on the right here that this is reasonable profits. This is a good trader, but not ridiculously unrealistic.
it's real. The best thing I could tell you, it's actually real. This is
Yeah,
real. I mean,
yeah,
so this is a seasonality program we have, okay? So you could see here the win ratio. You could see the number of trades. And this is from the beginning of of the this is from the launch time, from the launch of the program.
Yeah, so this goes back to December of 2022.
So reasonable amount of time. So you could see profit factor on the stock is over 2.08. That's, you know, how, if you've been doing this for quite a while, you know that's really good.
Yeah.
And again, it's real. It's not phony.
No.
We've had an 1,849% return on the options since we launched the program. Since we launched, not since yesterday, since we launched the program.
Yeah.
But again, everything here is, notice the average loss is actually bigger than the average gain. But this is real. This is what it is.
Yeah.
Can you show him the Monday turnaround? I have another one where we buy on Monday and we close on Friday. It's based on seasonality of the one that I did for Celeste, the Monday. What is it?
True Trend Pro.
True Trend. Look at this one. I love this one. Win rate, 80% win rate, profit factor of 1.6, stocks 1.59. Look at the medium and average hold time. Everything is accounted for. If you see an empty spot there on G, that's because that trade is currently open.
Yep, it is.
And this is fantastic because it really goes against the other, at least one other review that I know that's out there that basically says like you're claiming these ridiculous numbers, but you're not. These are very reasonable numbers for a profitable trader. This is very good, and it's not absurd in any way. Like there's no way to take this as there's some, you know, tomfoolery going on. This is profitable trading, without a doubt. So yeah.
And again, it's not. I'm not showing some. You know, I'm not God. I can't trade with a 50 profit factor. But this is real. This is what it is, and it's very good, and I'm very proud of it. Now the pit is on a whole different level. That's let me just share the screen for a second, Matt. Here we go. Let me just share my screen real quick. And by the way, just to show you, just today. From the VIP room, these are all the testimonials from today.
Yeah.
That's from today. That's from today. That's from today. We're still in today. We're still in today. This is now, we're at yesterday.
Yeah. And I have dozens more when people asked me the other day. So I have dozens of these. I'm not going to share them now, but if people are interested and they're watching this, I can share dozens of people telling me how amazing this service, like these services are. So
now let me show you something cool. Okay. Now again, this is day trading, and this is time stamped down to the minute. And if I revise something, it would say modified or revised here. So none of these are revised. So just to show you today. Okay. So we start out this morning. I come on, I do my morning call. This is I got 1,057 people here. And this is a $3,000 program. This is not a $300 program.
Right.
1,000. So if you stayed in Tesla overnight, feel free to get out with a profit at 9:35 in the morning. This is Eastern time. Where are you, Russell?
I'm in San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, okay. Okay. I just wanted to know if you're on Eastern or anyway.
Central,
so adding Chewy on our long watch list, 9:45. Adding RTX to our long watch list. Okay, let's go long Chewy. 10:07 fill price 27.95. Look at the timestamp. It's all here. People are exit Chewy 10:11 28.53. So we made about 60 cents in about 6 minutes. Now at 28.64, get yours while it's hot. This is all today, okay? If you're still holding Chewy, yes, I like it for a swing trade. And by the way, every trade here I give out originally as a swing trade, but we close them out as a day trade. If they go against us, I lean on it as a swing trade. That's how I worked it. That's how the system here works. So I still like JP Morgan. I still like RTX. If you're still in Urban from yesterday, that was a trade I gave right before you and I talked yesterday in the morning to get out with a profit. So everything is completely transparent. It's all here, no monkey business. And on those trades, we have a 95.6% win rate on over 250 trades.
Fantastic.
So we've really been really cleaning it up to say the least.
For sure. And then, so one thing it would be interesting for people that are watching this on YouTube is, could you pull up the website where you have all these different services? Because I know there's there's like a dozen services.
Yeah, Matt will
Um,
pull them up right now. Can you do that,
um,
Matt?
yeah, so it's on your main website, and it's like there's some by you and there's some by Lance
Lance Ippolito and Jeff. We have several guys, and they've all been with us for years.
Yeah,
And we all do. One of the cool things is we all do different things. Like Lance specializes in unusual option activity. My whole thing is relative strength. Everything I do is based on relative strength.
right.
Everything is based on relative strength. Everything Lance does, and I don't want to put, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but everybody's got a different kind of focal point that they deal with. So we don't step over each other. Chuck, I do a lot of work with Chuck Hughes.
Yeah,
I'm sure you've heard of Chuck Hughes. He's been around
yeah,
for 30 years now.
yeah.
Uh,
I've heard of both of your teammates there for sure. So
yeah. So we do a lot of work. I work with Tom Busby. But again, we all work separately. We all do different things. We all do our own little thing, and we all specialize in our own little niche.
So for a new trader, if you're fairly new to options, for example, what service would you recommend out of all of these different services? Is there one that'd be like,
Uh,
okay, fairly new options trader,
uh,
this is what I'd recommend?
the A line, the A line, the
A-line.
one that's
Okay.
the first one, the A line. Why? Because it's based on very, very simple principles and it's extremely reproducible. Matter of fact, let me again, I have stories for everything. I'm sorry, Russell, but I got a story for everything. But I
So,
have I have one of our clients. He likes our trades, and he just retired, and he's an amazing programmer. His name is Brian, and Brian loves the A line. He's like addicted to the A line. I mean, he loves the A line. Every day he sends me a list of stocks. And he's at the point now, he's been doing this now for 3, 4 weeks. He sends me a list every day of his A line picks, and I tell him if they're good or not. And he's now batting an average of like 90% and 95% and sending me the best trade ideas. So it's very easy for someone to learn to reproduce it and replicate it. So if somebody's starting out and if they want like, hey, I want to become profitable as soon as possible. I'll learn all that other stuff later. The A line is really easy. Okay.
good.
Now, there's no correlation between easy and profitable. They're all,
Right.
they're all pretty much in the same realm, between 70 and 80%. They all have a profit factor between 1.5 and 2. But the A line is very, very easy to apply. Very
Right. And
easy to apply.
that's a big factor with new traders and even fairly intermediate traders too, is when they buy these services, they often can't reproduce the results because they can't handle like basically downturns or pullbacks, you know. And so I'm always on the lookout to recommend to people things that where they can replicate it a little bit more easily. So it sounds like maybe the A line might be the way to go here for people that are new. I have a broad audience of experienced traders to new traders. So I guess that sounds like something that'd be good for a new
And
trader.
and if somebody's like really like up there, been doing this for a long time, or really wants to get like wants to literally take their trading. And I'm not really trying to sell this. I'm just being honest with you. The ProTrader dashboard. The ProTrader
I
dashboard
saw that.
is what
Looks
I
good.
use. That's what I use to generate the trades for the pit, the one that has the 95% plus win rate. And
Yeah,
what that does is I took 500 S&P stocks and 400 good stocks that are not in the S&P, second tier stocks like Team or like Roku, good stocks, but are not, but they're just not in the S&P 500. So I took those
right,
stocks and I created a relative strength scanner that equalizes the weight and the sensitivity of each stock and makes them equal to each other. And
right.
then they go race against each other. So can you show him the dashboard real quick?
It's up.
The scanner. No,
Looks
no,
like
no, the
we're
scanner.
watching
The scanner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
So for example, take a look at the scanner. Matt's going to show you a scanner, and you'll see stocks. You'll see it's got 3 time frames, and it's got 30. It's got. You want me to do it, Matt? I have it up here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I'll just show it to you. I have it. I'm literally looking at it in real time right now. I have 10 screens up at any given time. I do. I actually know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 now. So this shows you which stock is the strongest stock out of those 900 stocks that I put in here.
Yep.
on a 30-minute basis, on an hourly basis, or if I want on a 5-minute basis. So if I'm looking to swing trade, I would look at this column towards the end of the day. If
Yeah.
I'm looking to day trade, I would look at the 30-minute column. If I'm looking at the market and intraday, the SPY's coming down real quick on 5-minute candles, I would look for stocks that are holding up the best over here. And
Yeah.
I have about a 6-hour video that I created teaching people how to use this. But this is the engine that drives the ProTrader dashboard. So
Nice.
the ProTrader dashboard is this and this and this. There's
Yeah.
two dashboards here. So right here, I could see relative strength. I could see how each sectors are doing in comparison to each other, the index, the stock, and the sector that the stock is in at an eye glance. I could see here whether I see red or green, whether the stock is outperforming the SPY or whether it's underperforming the SPY. And here, I could see relative strength compared to the SPY on an hourly basis, on a daily basis, on a 30-minute basis, and I can also do the same for volume. And here I could see the percentage of volume right now in comparison to the daily volume.
Nice.
And here it gives me, if it goes here, it gives me profit targets and stop loss levels. So this is basically what I said was like, how do I create a tool that allows the average trader to get what they need to day trade the market successfully with a very high win rate without having like a gazillion different tools.
Right.
And
Right.
that's what this is. And we've been seeing a win rate of over 95%. And it's been amazing. People just, they love, you've seen the response. You've seen the reaction.
Yeah.
And,
And again,
and,
that's
and,
the
and I'm going to
reason.
invite folks, when you send me the link to your video, I'm going to invite my folks to watch this video and to give you their honest feedback once again.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to ask them to give a positive review. I'm just going to ask them to give their honest opinion.
No, I appreciate it. I think it's fantastic. And I honestly, the value that people are getting from your stuff is more important to me than anything else. Like that is the bottom line. Are people finding value in what you're doing? And the answer is overwhelmingly yes. I mean, that's what I've been seeing. People love what you're doing. I've never seen so much vigorous like, Russell, you're wrong. Roger is the real deal. He's doing the job well. And honestly, it's the main reason I'm engaging with you at the moment. So, like,
Yeah, and if you ever, you're not that far away. If you ever come out to Florida, come and visit us. Sit with me. I invite people to come with me and sit with me all day long. Our clients, I always invite them to the Loop, and you're more than invited. Come out, hang out with us.
yeah, I used to live in Florida. I've actually lived in a couple of places. I lived in Studio City, where close to where you are, and I've lived in Orlando in Celebration, Florida, for a while too. And I'm currently in Texas just because of the no tax. That's kind of where I'm aiming, is Florida, Texas. Kind of getting away from the tax sort of situation. But yeah,
Sure.
for sure. So what I'll do is I'll leave links to your website, and I'll make sure that people can find all your different services. I get questions about you quite periodically. I get people asking, is Roger Scott the real deal? And I think after learning more about you, researching you carefully, talking to your subscribers, I have absolutely like full confidence that you can provide them with good educational and alerts material that they need to succeed in the stock market. So
Good. And I hope in the future we could do a follow up and do some work together maybe. But I'd love for you to do a critique, or again, I'm an open book. This is important to me. I want people to see what this is all about.
Yeah, and I think it's important. I don't have any affiliate with Roger here at all. Like I'm just an independent.
Yeah, we don't have any relationship, folks. We don't have any business relationship.
I'm not asking him for money. I'm not, he's not paying me. I'm not even affiliate marketer, although that is one of my main income streams, is affiliate marketing for products. But I'm happy to recommend people that are doing good work for other people without having to have any financial compensation whatsoever. So I think that's kind of the key thing here.
And also, please feel free to come to our morning show. It's free, doesn't cost a penny for anybody, and come to our VIP room. It doesn't cost anything. We usually have 400 to 500 people in our morning show, and between 300 and 400 people in our afternoon show every single day.
Yeah, and they love you. That's the, that's the bottom line.
That's the most
They
important
absolutely
thing.
love you. And so I'll leave links in the description for this YouTube video for both the morning and the midday, the midday stuff. So I watched both of those today, and I saw people saying, you know, hey, it's good for Russell to like actually listen to reason here, because a lot of people will just be like, oh, I don't believe this guy or whatever. But I'm very open-minded. If you know you've convinced me, and I think you've you know, all your followers obviously make money and enjoy your content. So so I'm excited to go forward. And if there's any other collaborations we can do, or maybe I can join one of your premium services and do a review on that, like maybe the ProTrader dashboard or something. I'd be happy to like review that as a very impartial like person, you
Yeah,
know.
reach out to me after this, and I'll give you a link to the pit. Or if you have, it depends how much time you want to spend on it, because the pit is very active in its time. Or if you swing
Right.
trading, but whatever, just send me an email. We'll figure it out, and I'll get you access, and you can review it openly and tell the truth and do whatever you want to do. I am an open book.
Yeah, and that's what I most appreciate about you, Roger, like the open book part of it. And the ironic part is like the feeling online from these negative reviews and things is that maybe you're not, but the opposite is true. So like that's the sort of thing I want to fight against. I want to fight against injustice in terms of people who are not being portrayed the way they should be. And there's plenty of people out there that are being portrayed as the next messiah in trading, and they're not. And then there's people that need to be held up on a pedestal and be like, this
It's
guy.
nice. It's nice to have someone who's actually real and who wants to help and actually could help, because I would hate for somebody to go to the wrong guy or gal and get burned.
Yeah,
You know,
and it
you
happens
don't
all
want.
the time. It happens all the time. And I
And then
can,
the industry gets a bad mouth, gets a bad rep as a result of
right,
that. So
right, exactly. So, and I can tell it only takes a day of talking to your subscribers to know that you're the real deal. Like that, it doesn't even take me to look at your brokerage accounts or any of that nonsense. It only takes like a day of people going, look, stop attacking Roger. He's the real deal. So, that's all it takes.
well, thank
Um,
you. I appreciate it. And again, it was a pleasure speaking to you, Russell. And I look forward to doing it in the future.
Definitely. Hopefully this can be something we can do going forward, and keep me updated with different programs, and hopefully we'll do some more videos and reviews and things of your stuff going forward. I think it'll be good. Thanks very much for your time today.
Thank you. And I will
All
send you
right.
this video as soon as it's processed.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your time.
Bye, Russell. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks. You too. Thanks.